ReefDudes is sponsored by Ecotech Marine and Bulk Reef Supply. Today we're getting an update on the HelloReef Nano tank. What's going on, guys? Devin from ReefDudes. Now I was looking at my YouTube feed when I was chatting with Mark the other day, and I noticed that I've had this tank for over a year, which is crazy. I almost didn't even realize it was a year old. I was thinking it was like 6 months, but no, it's been a year. So time for an update. Now, most people think nano tanks are hard, and I honestly find them pretty dang easy. I give it, a 1 bucket water change every few weeks. That's about it. It's like very, very simple. I do dose it, but very minimal. I got some ReefDudes and I do 2 or 3 mils a day. And that and a water change is really, aside from that, the tank is pretty dang easy. I did start with an AI blade and eventually put on an extra 15. Yes, it's overkill. Yes, it's turned way down. I basically did it because I already had an extra one that was on to sump in my old tank. So it made sense to repurpose it. And if you saw my video from a week or 2 ago, I did change the osmolator to the osmolator 3 just to have a little more compact in the back. And so far that thing's been working great. Now my one clownfish is doing great in here. He basically lives in that gonny. He is always in there. Thankfully the gonny doesn't seem to mind, but he's constantly swimming in and out of those tentacles. Primarily the green one on the right, but yeah, he loves it. He's always in there. And it's really cool to see him hosting it. It's just like, cozy as he goes through all there. All of the gonnies in here started from little frags, so it's nice to see, some of these guys filling in pretty nicely. Initially I did lose, I think 1 or 2 of them just kind of faded off of me, but the rest seem to be thriving in here. One of my latest additions is this fathead dendro. I showed one of these off my other tank. I did put a head in each tank. These guys are kind of like a sun coral, but I personally find them easier. I haven't seen them for sale in ages, so when I saw someone selling some, I grabbed a couple heads, just put one in each tank. But the biggest thing that I've loved with the nano tank is just all the unique creatures that you can add that you would otherwise miss in a large tank. I'm absolutely obsessed with all these tiny little micro creatures, these little clear anemone shrimps, and there's just so many weird inverts, and I think they're so fascinating. And again, if I had these in my big tank, they would probably just either, maybe they'd be eaten or they disappear. You just never really see it to truly appreciate them. We even got coral specific shrimp, like this guy's a Heliofungia shrimp. Living is Heliofungia, but there's just so many cool, unique, crazy creatures. And the cool thing with the nanos, I can just absolutely pack it full of these little guys. In my big tank, these guys would obviously turn into basically an instant snack, but in here you can just stare at it and you just keep finding more and more little crazy creatures, which is super cool. And having a smaller tank is obviously much cheaper. It's a cheaper initial investment. It's cheaper to run, it's cheaper to maintain. A bucket of salt will last you a year basically on it, and it's just a really affordable way to enjoy the hobby. Down in the lower rocks, you can see I do have a bunch of zoas in here. These yellow ones are called scrambled eggs, I believe. These ones, I think they're called blue-eyed blondes. I got these little blue ones, worldwide corals, something, can't remember, but a little bit of contrast in here. I believe are radioactive dragon eyes and sonic flares, I think those ones are. And of course we got all these cool little creatures as we start exploring. And this one is a zebra hermit crab, so just different unique little guys. And yeah, until I had this nano tank, I didn't realize how many different hermit crabs there are. Like this guy is like pinky red with striped ones. I got purple legs, I got pink legs, Halloween hermits. There's just such a crazy variety of these little guys. Even back, I just look and I got my kryptonite bounce in the back and come over, and I see another little guy, his little antennas and arms just poking out the edge. Just like constantly finding more and more of these little creatures, which is so cool. Got the fire shrimp hiding in the back. I do wish this guy was out a little bit more. He definitely does hide more in the back of the tank, but he's really cool when you actually do see him swimming around. Of course, can't find him right now, but we also do have some pom-pom crabs and porcelain crabs and lots of other really tiny creatures in the tank. And of course some sexy shrimp. These guys are always cool. Super easy. They love chilling on rock flowers, and they're always just doing a little dance, which is always fun to watch. So if you don't have a reef tank and you're thinking about it, a nano is just a really good easy way to go. It's super duper easy, especially if you stick to semi-regular water changes. It basically removes any of your big hassles. The other thing is too, if you look at this tank, I do have a lot of more like soft corals and LPS corals, which tend to be easier. We got the Japanese green mushroom, we got some kryptonite bounce, we got a bunch of Goniopora, some rock flowers, some zoas, the dendro, Helofungia. Like none of these are overly demanding corals. They, you know, a little bit of food, you know, a little bit of dosing, and they're super duper easy. And again, I could maybe get away with just water changes alone, but I do dose that 2 or 3 mils a day of ReefDudes just for good measure. And just having the one primary fish in here too also makes a big difference. It does keep the waste in the tank pretty darn low. Any leftover food, the inverts just go for it, and you know, it's all devoured up. And you know, he grabs what he can, and the inverts clean up the rest. So it's like having a giant cleanup crew of super duper interesting creatures. And even if you do have a large aquarium, you know, it just gives you such a different perspective on the hobby, seeing all the micro life and stuff that you would miss it otherwise in a big tank. Now hopefully it inspired some of you guys to get your feet wet and get yourself a nano tank. The HelloReef kit really is a great kit for all-in-one to get started. If you got any questions on anything, as always, let me know in the comments below. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.